interest to me. Okay, I should be having a detailed oriented approach because the numbers that I would be working with are far too large. Okay, so as an actuary, you will be involved with some very large numbers per se, and you will be working with those very large numbers. Okay, so you need to be very focused and very detail oriented in your approach in order to become one. The other softer side of things is basically I need to be resilient because the journey of an actuary is way too large. So in order to become one, at least 4 to 5 years is the bare minimum time that typically goes into. So very easy for you to lose interest, lose focus, and then get out of it. You should be passionate for having a lot of analytical work. So problem solving, analytics should be the core things that you should be having in mind. Second thing is the learning does not stop with fellowship. You should have a hunger towards continual learning because with the things and the developments that are happening, you should be acquainted yourself with all the necessary developments that happen. Okay, broadly at a bachelor level, if a kid comes, I think we typically tell 2 or 3 questions. One is interest in the field of finance. Two is a good aptitude and attitude or liking towards mathematics, and analytical and problem solving ability. If these 3 things click a yes, then he should definitely look at actuaries as a career. If a student later on in his career wants to pursue actuarial science, okay, then the other aspects also come into detail. He should have the resilience. He should be determined because it's a very long journey. The next is how should you pursue? So I have basically answered what is actuarial science, why one should pursue with the demand gap, with the entire salary progressions. Now how? So in order to become an actuary, as you have your CA, you have an Institute of Actuaries of India. Okay. Now you have to clear certain exams of this institute in order to become an actuary. In all, there are 13 exams that one needs to clear in order to become an actuary. The good part about the Indian Institute is that it has not made its own curriculum. It has taken the curriculum from the UK Institute, which is the IFOA. So this basically gives you excellent skill transfer because whatever you're studying for the UK exams is relevant for India. Whatever studying for Indian exams is relevant for the UK. The only thing is the exams are different, but syllabus, study material, the way you practice, the way you work is absolutely the same. Okay. So traditionally, all students typically pursue some area of graduation and along with that, clear certain actuarial exams. The aim is you need to clear 13 exams in order to become a qualified actuary. The other way that people used to pursue actuaries is then later on in their careers, let's say after becoming a CA, after becoming a CFA, you come to know that you want to pursue actuaries. So if you are done with existing professional qualifications, you are allowed certain exemptions from the 13. You don't have to give all 13. Let's say depending upon the qualification, you have to give 8, 10, whatever the qualification is, you accordingly give your relevant number of exams. The new way that has developed in the last 6-7 years is basically you pursue a degree program which basically is accredited. So by pursuing the degree program, you study the same thing in your college. Okay. And along with that, you typically clear the exams because the degree is exempted. So if you score well in your college exam, you don't have to basically give the relevant actuarial exams. Okay, so these are the typical 3 ways in which you pursue. The traditional way is where people have been pursuing. If you are already a qualified professional, there is a shorter route available, or the other way is basically you pursue an accredited degree program. So while looking at the traditional way, we observed that this being a distance learning program had a lot of issues. Okay, since it was not through formal education, typically you used to pursue one thing at college, one thing for your actuarial exams. Then you need to develop yourself equivalently because soft skills are equally important in getting into a job. You didn't have an idea, you were doing exams, but you didn't have an idea as to where this applies. And finally, searching for a job, understanding the dynamics of the market takes a little time. So in order to solve all of it is where the IAQS degree program comes into play. The degree comes from the University of Mumbai. It has where there is support for all the professional courses that are there, which is typically Actuarial Science, CFA, FRM. There is a dedicated system by which the entire teaching and learning mechanism happens. There are projects and there are employment opportunities as a part of the program, enabling students to get all things under one roof. So, a bit about IAQS. We were formed in 2018 as a department with the University of Mumbai Patkar Verde College. So, we offer the BSc and MSc actuarial programs. A bit on our journey, we started with 2018. 2020, we got our accreditation for our BSc program from the IFOA. We are the only course in India which has been accredited by the IFOA for up to 6 actuarial exams. 2021, we got an arrangement with the Australian National University where our students get direct entry in their MSc programs, and we also have a 2+2. You can do a 2-year here, and the remaining 2 years you can do in ANU. 2023, we got with Heriot-Watt, which is a UK-based university, and a similar arrangement like to that with that of ANU. Our students get direct entry and scholarships to these particular universities. Now, as we stand, we are basically a more than 350 student base, 20 plus corporate partners across various things, and 30 plus trainers and faculties as a part of our program. This is our BSc program. If you do the program, you have exemptions of up to 6 actuarial exams. So of the 13, you don't have to do 6, provided you score well in the college exams. There is an in-depth analysis of all degrees, all the areas of application, be it banking, financial services, insurance. So our aim is every semester we take student through one industry: life insurance, non-life insurance, finance and investment, marketing, banking. So the aim is to let them go through the entire journey and then decide on what path to take. Apart from that, towards the end of it, the BSc students have a choice whether they want to pursue actuarial science or whether they want to pursue more into finance. So in year 3, they have a choice depending upon which they can take their relevant subjects. Okay. So it's a 3-year program now with NEP adopted by the government of Maharashtra. There is an optional 4th year that will also be there. So if any students wants to go for 4 years, he can also opt for a 4-year program. The MSc program is dedicated towards actuarial science. It has exemptions for up to 6. So there are 2-3 more subjects that are covered over and above the BSc, but it's more in depth and more faster paced as compared to the BSc program. So the aim is that, let's say if there is a person who comes to know about MSc later on in his career, he can pursue this and have basically a faster route. So broadly, if you pursue the MSc, again, if you score well, you will be eligible for exemptions. Of the 13, 7 papers would be done. You just have to do the remaining exams. So the pathway, the programs that typically have, so UK, we have Heriot-Watt and Australia is basically Australian National University. These are the programs that any of our students have a direct entry or a direct pathway to. Okay, so this gives them a direct pathway to these relevant universities. This is where our placements are. Last year, we achieved almost 100% placements. The areas where our students work, the highest package that our students have got is around 13 lakhs with a median package of 11 lakhs per annum. So they work majorly in consulting, life insurance, non-life insurance, certain risk advisories. You have all the big fours in the risk advisory: EY, KPMG, PwC, Deloitte. Now even the smaller GT and all have also started entering into this actuarial domain. Ideally, this is how we tell our students for a progression. Whether through IAQS or whether they're pursuing independently, they should try to complete up to 6 actuarial exams. If they're doing with IAQS, they will get exemptions from 6. So if the aim should be by the time they graduate, they should have 6 exams done. After that, they should be doing their job or internships. Typically, as I told you, around 8 lakhs to 10 lakhs is the broad range that they can expect while they pursue. 1 to 2 years they should pursue their job. After that, if they want to go abroad, they can go on to abroad wherever they want, or they must complete the remaining exams along with their job. That is where I highlighted the resilience becomes important, because the remaining papers need to be cleared with the job. Yeah, sorry, I think was someone there. Okay, I'll just quickly take through all the points and then I'll come to the questions. So this is a broad idea about why IAQS. Now, considering that we are the only ones in India and have a very strong alumni base now, and also a very strongly focused on the employability and the professional readiness of our students. Broadly, if anyone wants to get into the actuarial area from IAQS, he has to have 12th. After that, there is an entrance test, which is based on maths and stats and English. 70% is math stats, 30% is English. There is 25% negative marking. He needs to be above 50 in order to be eligible for admission. And after that, there's a personal interview where we typically check upon the communication and interpersonal skills. QAT is conducted online. The student may take his choice. It is an online proctored exam. So that's how the exam is conducted. In case student has done any of the entrance of the Indian Institute or any actuarial exams, he does not have to give it. Cool. I have quickly taken through all the details that I wanted to impress upon. I'm open now for, okay, I think I will quickly look at the questions that are there. Okay. Which conventional grad course is preferred in MSc programs? MSc programs, if I talk about a conventional grad course, I would be looking at statistics or mathematics, preference towards statistics. Eligibility for MSc is basically any stream is fine. If you have more than 70% in aggregate, you don't have to do the QAT, you just have to do the personal interview. There are other universities also offering BSc, MSc program. Does all this? No. So, Preetha, we are the only ones in India to be accredited by the IFOA for up to 6 and 7 papers exemption. With BSc 6. So, Preetha, typically our target market is, so if I talk about a BSc, it is all those students who are doing BSc. 12th, and there are a lot of students, because this being not so searched or not so known course, there are a lot of MSc students that come to know about actuaries later on. So a BSc and MSc typically from our institute would not be there, because there is some overlap, as you have rightly highlighted in the papers. How is the entrance different from ASET in structure and focus? No, entrance is not a lot different. It is very, very similar to ASET. 70% and 30%. There are other elements in ASET as well, in the form of data interpretation, and which are not there, and logic. We are only focused on math, stats, and English. Yeah, Samir, you can go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. It was a quite good insight which you provided. So I had a question over here. You mentioned that by the time you graduate, a student completes the 6 papers, and then the remaining papers have to be completed while he or she is working. So I was under the impression that in this 3 years you complete all the entire actuarial science modules. So can you just highlight on that part, sir?
No, so Samir, there are in all 13 exams. In the 3 years, you typically cover 6 to 7 exams. Higher order exams typically are option based as well. So if you want to become an actuary, you can become an actuary in investment. So you'll give those exams. If you want to become an actuary in life insurance, you'll give those exams. If you want to give an actuary in general, you'll give those exams. So some element of WorkX is mandatory before you go on to those higher order exams. So that's the reason why typically the remaining exams have to be given along with some WorkX.
Okay, so in this 3 years curriculum which is there in the brochure, that only includes the 6 papers which are there, and later on the student has to clear with the WorkX. That's what you're mentioning.
Correct. So we typically, so 6 are exempted. We cover 7th and 8th as well, but 6 are exempted.
Okay. Okay. Noted. Thank you.
Preeta, does that mean if BSc is completed? Okay, I think Ani is raised up. I'll just quickly come to Ani if I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing. Yeah,
Hi, Akash. It was a great, I think this was something very new for me. Thank you so much. I have one question which I think previously Samir has asked regarding this exams. So there is a way where we can get enrolled to your university, and then only six more exams are remaining. That is one way, is what I understand. And the
correct.
second way will be the traditional way where I will be doing my commerce, arts, or any field, wherein max will be the compulsory subject, definitely. Otherwise, it's difficult, right? If I don't have max. Yeah. And in that, how many exams will be remaining after I finish my bachelor's in commerce or science? After that, how many exams? Is it all 13?
No, your choice. So basically, what you're saying is if you're pursuing it via the traditional way,
Yeah.
so exams are conducted twice in a year.
Hmm.
So you go for those exams. By
Okay.
the by the time you graduate, how many clear up to you, and balance would be your case. So broadly, the point is it is up to you. How do you complete the remaining exams? If you complete four, you will have to do the remaining nine. If you
Nine.
complete six, you will have to complete the remaining seven.
So these exams are conducted by you all, right? It's the
No,
same.
no, 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 no.
No.
So the exams are conducted by either the IFOA, which is the independent body of the UK, or the II, which is the independent body of India.
Okay, got it, got it.
Okay,
So you have to directly connect them with them and do this.
for the traditional way.
So
For the way, let's say, if you want to do it via graduation,
mm-hmm.
whatever exams that we conduct, whatever marks that we typically give is approved by these or by the IFOA, enabling you to get exemptions.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, one more question I have. So you mentioned about this pathway program as well. So this pathway program is like is it's for masters, right? Once I first year I'll do it here, and the second year I go to some UK or Australia. Is it something like that?
No,
Or
so it's a so the masters is a direct entry. So typically, the masters programs that I had mentioned here, I'll just so the master's program of base Harriet Watt typically give you exemptions towards the paper number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 also. So if you go for masters there, and it's a 1 year masters there,
okay.
typically you will have exemptions for the remaining papers as well.
Mm-hmm.
IAQS students get a direct entry to these masters. And for ANU, we also have a 2+2. So you can do 2 years here and a 2 years in ANU. You will get a graduation degree from ANU.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Uh,
Akash, just to continue with what you are, saying. So that does that mean that your exams are equivalent to IAI modules that are compulsory?
so my exams are equivalent to the IFOA modules that are compulsory. As
Okay.
of
Does
now, we don't have
does that
exemption.
give exemptions to IAI as well?
That's what I'm saying. That does not mean I have exemptions to II.
Okay.
Exemptions to IFOA basically means, let's say if you become an actuary from IFOA, you can automatically become an actuary from India. There is an MRA. So broadly,
Oh,
let's say you completed six here, you then completed the remaining seven on your own. You became an actuary, fellow actuary of IFOA. You automatically become a fellow actuary of India. There is an straight transfer.
okay.
But if you are getting exemptions from here, you don't get basically, as of now, we are in active considerations and discussions with the IAI as well.
Okay.
As of now, it is not there.
All right. And one more question is, like you mentioned, with your graduation, like BSc Actuarial Science, one can complete 7 or 6 modules. So is it
Correct.
not compulsory key, at least 7 would be done, or 6 is something that you need to pass?
So I'll tell how
Or is
exemptions
it an
work.
option? Or is it an option?
No, so how the exemptions work is basically passing, you need 40% marks. But
Yeah.
if you want to score an exemption, you need to get 65% marks. If you're
Okay.
above 65, you get the exemptions. If you're not above 65, you don't get the exemptions.
Okay. So
Okay.
in case somebody who's not getting exemption, he can reapply.
Yes.
Will he complete his graduation?
Yes. Graduation threshold is 40.
Oh,
Exemption threshold is 65.
All right. Got that.
Yeah. Yeah, Siddhi, you can go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a question that if I'm not applying in IAQS, then I have to give ASAT exam for the different colleges.
No, it's not a college exam. See, if you're not doing it from IAQS, uh, ASET is an entrance exam of II. You after that can give any II exam. ASET is not related to a college. The point is QAT and ASET, as highlighted earlier, cover a lot of similar stuff. Hence, we have given a specific exemption. So in case you clear ASET, you don't have to give the QAT. You just have to give the interview for you to be eligible for admissions here.
So if I'm applying in a college for BSc Actuarial Science, so do I have to give ASAT exam?
Depends. It is entirely up to the college.
Okay, sir.
So that is a discussion or a decision which the college will take, which college you are applying to.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sonia.
Yeah. Thanks, Akash, for your session. So my question is, you mentioned, I saw in one of the slides in eligibility, you have mentioned that student from arts also can apply for BSc. So maths is not compulsory.
So the point is we take care of it in our entrance. So in case, let's say there is a student who's not done maths or stats, he would not be able to crack the entrance is what we feel. So indirectly, that's the way he will get filtered out. But there are some students who
Mhm.
basically then ensure that they study maths and stats and are then able to crack the entrance.
Mhm.
Very less proportion, but then they are eligible because our criteria is not based on their degree that they have done. Our
Mhm.
criteria is based on our entrance purely.
Okay, so even in 11th, 12th, student doesn't have a maths, he can also apply for this particular entrance, you mean to say.
Correct, correct.
And one more question. So this is the degree courses which you are offering, BSc and MSc. Now, as you said, there is a traditional way where I mean, student is doing a some graduation, and along with that, he or she can also go for these exams, right? So
Correct.
that's another route you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think what is the average? Okay. Can I apply for BSc Actual Science after 12th? And when I have to give the 13 exam, will it be in the. So, Siddhi, you can apply only after your 12th. Uh, After that, along with your college exams, your six get covered, and you have to complete the remaining, as I told you, after you graduate. So typically, on an average, after 12th, you should calculate at least 5 to 7 years for you to get completed with all exams. There are people who get done earlier. 2, 3 of our students already in the 4.5 years have got it done, but I typically keep 5 to 7 years as a broad average.
And sir, is it compulsory to give ASAT exam to get enrolled in IAI?
Yes.
Okay.
What is the average number of students your average number of exemption? Okay, BSc Anurag. So how it happens is it's not all or nothing. Anywhere between 1 to 3, 60 to 70% of our students get exemptions. So 1 to 3 exams. 3 to 6 would be around 40% of our students get exemptions. So if there are 100 students, around 60 to 70% of them get exemptions of 1 to 3 exams, and 30 to 40% get exemptions of 4 to 6. Yeah, KNG Life Gyan, I think.
Yes, hi Akash. Thank you for your session. And I just wanted to ask you two questions. One is like when you go by your traditional way and you're doing a graduation in certain subjects, what graduation fields would you suggest would be better for students who are looking to pursue actuarial science as a full-time career? One. And the second question is how many seats and quotas are there uh, in all India level as well as in your institute for students?
Okay, so first, any other degree program, if is pursuing it from science, statistics, mathematics would be the streams, more preference to statistics uh, in terms of the stream that you should look at in BSc. If it is commerce, ideally BCom is something which is gone way too low in terms, at least in Mumbai. I would prefer some BCom which has a decent level of maths. Okay, so in Mumbai there is very less in terms of maths. So you may go for BFM. If you are talking about Mumbai, outside I would be able to comment on looking at a program. If there is anyone in arts planning to pursue, then Eco Stats Maths is the option, and BA in economics typically is the option that you should look at. In terms of seats, I think there are only at a graduation level 5 to 6 colleges that typically offer actuarial science as a program. Would be having anywhere between 60 to 120 seats. At a master's level, 3 to 4, I know 3 to 4 is a little less. Again, 5 to 6 colleges. But distance learning per se has no limitation. So it's up to II how many students it wants to take and wants to go ahead with. So there is no limit per se on the distance learning part.
Okay. There's one more question. How tough are the exams? Like for an average student who scores around 70-75% marks in maths and is still passionate about maths and wants to make a career, how tough would be for him to clear those exams? Like we say, CA papers are really very tough. So how would you rate actuarial papers for an average student?
Yeah, wait, actually, I had thought of doing analysis, so I'll come to that quickly. So broadly, if I talk about the opportunity or difficulty, so there are two very strong common myths that operate right now. One common myth is that actuaries is equal to insurance. That's not the case. That is an area where, yes, traditionally, as I highlighted earlier, that is area where traditionally actuaries were required. Hence, they have been stereotyped per se, but they work in multi domains: banking, finance, strategy, various areas that are there that they work in. So it's not insurance. The second myth is that actuaries is super duper tough. Considering that I personally have completed CA as well. So CA per se is very vast. So what happens in CA is basically the final exam. You have 8 exams, each equivalent to 1,000 pages of literature. So broadly, it 8,000 to 10,000 pages in a span of 16-17 days becomes very taxing. So I had to study 4 months, let's say morning 8, night 8, full time on this. But when I was pursuing my actuarial journey, I never had to spend 8 hours, because actuaries you can give one exam. If you want, you can give 2 exams, and for any reason, let's say one you could not clear, second you could clear, you just have to give one again. In CA, let's say there are groups. So if you one does not clear, it may happen that you have to give all 4 again. So considering that aspect of things, I feel CA is far more vast. Actuaries is more in depth. If a student has a good liking towards math stats, and I would say 80 to 85 is a broad threshold. If he is able to score that much, he should definitely look at actuaries as a career. And is it at par like CA? So I will highlight an advantage as well. CA में half CA का कोई value नहीं है. So let's say if I just clear IPCC and or PCC or whatever inter these days, I am not credible enough. But actuaries में अगर आपका 6 पेपर 7 पेपर भी हुआ है and for some reason you leave the course, it is not that your salaries will fall off drastically. So the progression will be slower, but it is not that the progression won't happen.
Thank you, Akash. I also just one more question. Is there any limit to the number of attempts that you can give for each actuarial paper?
No, there is no limit.
Thank you.
But ideally,
Thank
I would advise if it's taking more than 2 or 3, we need to rethink our strategy.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Samir.
Uh,
Oh, sorry, somebody said. Ruchika, go ahead.
yeah, hi. Akash, suppose if someone does the take up the BSc Science Actuarial, then you said, either through you or through the conventional route, you get to do your six papers, right? Either through exemption or you actually complete your six papers. And then the remaining obviously needs to be done on the job, along with your work experience. So when should a student consider doing an MSc in actuarial sciences?
Typically, Ruchika, the majority of our students that come for MSc are ones who came to know about actuaries way too late in their career. See, appreciate one thing, getting done with 7 to 8 exams, having industry people around you, and let's say then leading to a better job option is something which is very, very difficult. So typically our MSc lot is majorly consisting of those students who come to know about actuaries later on in their career. So right now we have students, and we have students all over India. We have students even from abroad. So we have students from the Gulf, the African nations, Sri Lanka. All of these students who are there in the MSc come to know about actuaries a lot later, and hence then they decide to pursue it.
So when you join MSc, then you start from scratch, like you will start from the first six papers.
Yeah, but the first 6 papers are covered in far more faster progression. It's so let's say 3 years divided 6 papers vis-a-vis 2 years divided and 9 papers. So MSc has even more stuff. There is a 7th paper exemption, which is the toughest paper in all the 13. Plus, there are 2 additional that we typically teach. So MSc is fast-paced and taxing, but typically MSc benefits from a very mature crowd that typically comes, and they are far more dedicated towards their studies as well.
So at the end of MSc, you are done with 8 papers.
7 papers you are exempted from. We teach
Yeah.
2 more, so 9.
9. And then the remaining 4
Is again on job.
on job. Okay. So I would say it makes much more sense to, pursue actuaries and make that informed decision right in your graduation while rather than MSc. Do a
So
BSc.
Ruchika, I think it's a personal point. I mean, depends upon where you are in your career. So a lot of our, as I told you, came to know about actuaries late. There would be a lot of people who basically are working in some area of insurance and now want to get into actuaries because they feel that that's far more lucrative. So बहुत सारे needs अलग अलग होते हैं. Where we have our MSc batch, which is right now around 45 kids. And very varied, very diverse backgrounds that all of them are from. Yeah, Samir, you can go ahead.
Sir, I just wanted to know, as you mentioned that a student can pursue a graduation, let's say BSc Statistics, and enroll for the actuarial course also. So, in this case, how does he prepare with your institute? How does it go? Because your institute is directly offering a bachelor's program for actuarial science. So, how does
So
it work in this case?
no, so he does not have to do anything else. Focus, come to college, attend lectures. The college exams itself count for exemptions. He needs to ensure that he needs to score well in the college exams. And college exams are not like your normal BCom or BSc exams. All our exams are reviewed by the IFOA. Obviously,
Mhm.
it should not be a shortcut route to becoming an actuary. We need to ensure that the talent is appropriate, right? So
Mhm.
the all our exams are reviewed by IFOA. All our exam papers, once they are checked, they are again reviewed by IFOA, and then only they get. So it's a continuous monitoring that happens of our entire process.
Okay. But how does a student prepare in that case? Say, for example, a student is doing BSc Statistics or Economics in bachelor's. And so, how does he prepare for the actuarial science in that case? Because you mentioned it's a correspondence course, unless and
No, so
until a student takes up your course.
yes. So then, so you basically go to the institute. You will get the study material from the institute. In case you need
Okay.
help, you can pursue or you can get in touch with coaching centers that are there. And if
Okay.
you need help, you can directly go through the material that is there. There is some information that would be available via various other modes.
Okay. To be very honest, which mode do you recommend in this case? Because that appears to be a very lengthy mode. So, do students prefer that particular mode because it's quite distance and again joining coaching and then going graduation? What is your take on that?
So Sameer, क्या है ना, that is the mode that has been prevalent since a very long time. And
Mm-hmm.
the mode that we are talking about is very, very new. So we are, let's say, 5-6 years now. And the best part is industry has accepted our mode far better. So the feedback that we have got, the reason we have 100% placement, the reason we are, if you see, a little above average in terms of our placements, our students get a lot of internships. If you want, you can follow our
Mm-hmm.
pages. You'll have an idea as to what internships they get into. What we have
Okay.
understood is typically वो distance learning mode में है ना, बच्चे लोग lose out on the practical understanding, the thought process, how it is goes, the communication skill sets, ये सब develop नहीं होता है. तो बहुत बार ऐसे होता है मेरे
Okay.
को एग्जाम क्लियर हो जाता है लेकिन कोई बंदा मेरे को क्वेश्चन पूछे ना, आई एम नॉट एबल टू आंसर दैट. And
Acha. Okay. Okay.
that's where a lot of problem also comes across. So we would feel that a more holistic development happens. यहाँ पे you would be interacting with a batch of almost 100 students who all will be future potential actuaries. The faculties that would be coming would be actuaries. The
Mm-hmm.
domains that will be there. So it's a far more stronger development of an individual.
Okay. So it's a holistic development if a student does from a proper BSc Actuarial Science, you mean to say.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. See the Anurag.
Hi, Akash.
Hi.
I want to understand how would be the career performance of a average person who could clear only 4, 5, let us say 6 papers, but couldn't clear the remaining papers. How would his career be?
So so I would say an average, let's say 3-4. So let's say there have been students who have got 3-4 exams. So they have joined somewhere in this 6-7 lakh range. And after that, they've cleared exams along with their graduation. Okay. Now let's say, sorry, along with their job, my bad. And then they have taken the path ahead. So, but to be very honest, 4 or 8, yeah, let's say 3-4 या 6 papers में पे scale में इतना बड़ा फर्क नहीं आता. It's not a very big difference. The difference only starts beginning to show once you hit basically 1 year of work-ex, and then the difference starts spreading across. Because purely based on exam, there is not a very high delta. The delta really starts coming into play when you basically are done with 1 year of work-ex. So in that 1 year, if the person who's done 3-4 exams is able to demonstrate it well, his career progression also becomes very good. But if he remains average, let's say he clears after that 1-2 papers a year or 1 paper a year as well, his career progression would not be very difficult. There are enough number of people who basically are done with 8-9 papers and have left for some reason, but their career progression has not been falling off. It has not grown in an exponential way, but there is a linear growth.
Because if there are only 654 actuaries, it is very clear that most of the people, in fact, the passing rate, the typical passing rate that CA has, actuaries would be having a much lesser rate.
So I think the challenge. So I'll tell you, for the initial exams, the passing rates is around 30%. For the latter exams, challenge किधर आता है ना अनुराग, along with job to clear it. Once you start earning, learning से focus थोड़ा जल्दी छूट जाता है.
So true.
So that is where a lot of students lose track. And that is why I pointed out resilience and focus is far more important.
And you wouldn't recommend that a student straight away, ये जो typical India में mentality है, drop लेके पहले सब exam निकालते हैं फिर करेंगे?
No.
It doesn't work like that.
वो फिर क्या हो जाएगा कि मेरे पास इतने सारे एग्जाम्स आ गए पर मेरे को पता ही नहीं अप्लाई कैसे होता है. Then तो I will be having a problem that I don't know how practical happens. I have all the academic knowledge.
Okay, so career में दिक्कत आएगी.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Captain Geeta. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Could you please tell me the the budget which people have to keep in mind while pursuing the bachelor or the masters from your
So
institute?
so typically around 6.5 lakhs over a period of 3 years if it's a bachelor's,
Mm-hmm.
and around again 7 lakhs for the masters.
So, I mean, 1 year probably approx 2 lakhs is the fee structure,
Correct.
right? And
Yes.
for PG, it's a 2 years program and probably 3.5 is what you're saying, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, Siddhi, you can go ahead.
Sir, if I'm not giving the ASAT exam but pursuing the BSc and MSc, so will I be able to have actuary in the future?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Vandana.
Yes, I just wanted to know, after completing BSc from your institute, student gets exemption for 6 exams, right? So,
Yes.
but do they get any certificate from IFOA of uh,
They will get it from
having cleared
IFOA only, Vandana. So once it is
IFOA?
done,
Okay.
so what? How
So
does the exemption?
for all practical purposes, they would be considered having cleared 6 papers from
Yes.
IFOA.
Yes. They
Okay.
basically, once they get their graduation degree, the mark sheets have to be uploaded on the IFOA portal. And IFOA, so basically from here we reverse feed everything to IFOA in their portal. They will just cross tally it, and then an exemption letter is issued to the student.
No, it would be an exemption letter. But I wanted to say, suppose student is not interested in, giving more papers. Like
हाँ
बहुत से students होते हैं कि 3-4 papers दिए, then they get into the, job and आगे
fair
नहीं
enough.
करते या नहीं कर पाते हैं ना,
हाँ
whatever be the reason.
yeah.
So would they be considered having cleared 6 papers from IFOA?
Yes.
Okay.
That exemption you have to claim once you graduate within 5 years. You just have to go and upload all the mark sheets onto the IFOA portal, and you'll get an exemption letter. And IFOA के आप exam portal पे जाओगे तो आपको दिखेगा कि ये cleared.
Okay. Okay. वो 6 पेपर क्लियर किया हुआ दिखेगा.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So just an extension of her question. So once you clear off those 6 papers through your college, your university, will you also get the license as an actuary, license as in registered by the Actuaries of India?
So what happens is, Ruchika, the license you get once you're done with 13. So we will give you 6. You clear the remaining 6 or 7 on your own or via some other route. So there are other routes. Let's say you go abroad and you do a master's from abroad where the higher order papers are also exempt. Once you clear all 13, whether it be from IFOA or whether it be from India, you will get a license.
Okay.
So yeah, I think HR ACS job.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. This is Richa.
Richa, yeah.
So my question is, number one is, if someone can someone who's a dropout and wish to make his career or want to restart the career, are they eligible to do this?
How would you define a dropout? Graduate dropout or a master's dropout?
Any. I mean, this is just a condition because we come across. So
Yeah, so it's not that,
is
it's
there
up to
any
you.
age criteria?
I would say if I'm looking at a bachelor's, yes, there will be an age. मतलब age criteria तो नहीं है, but your peer group will be very young if you are a
Yeah,
dropout.
that is a challenge, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the challenge that you need to be cognizant of. So we have a student here in our first year who completed 1 year in NMIMS, and after that did not want to pursue it and had some medical issues. He joined back after 2 years with us, and now he's doing it. And to be very honest, he's one of the brilliant ones. So he's doing quite well in the current year. So yes, you can join. That's not a problem.
Okay. And my second question is like what I understand is actuarials like IA से जो हम कर रहे हैं या कुछ भी कर रहे हैं वो काफी कुछ उसका पैटर्न सिमिलर टू सीए बिकॉज सीए इज आल्सो एन इंडिपेंडेंट university. You have to do it on their own. It's the same pattern which is followed, I believe.
Yeah. So there are two independent bodies, Institute of Actuaries of India.
To be very clear and simple on that point, it's similar to how we pursue CA.
Yes, it's a distance learning program, but there is a unique way where you can pursue it via
Yeah,
IAQS.
by you, it's a different thing that we can do it. That is an alternative route that we have got to know, and we are thankful to you. But yes, it's the similar way. That is the
Correct.
clarity
So
that
it's
I
a
wanted.
distance learning.
And
You have
and
exams
when you
which.
say, you can continue. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, Richa.
So what I wanted to one more thing I confirm is like when you say that people lose their interest once they come start off with their job. So is there any specific requirement that they need to do a job before they complete the papers? Is it the
So
same like 3 years of articleship in CA?
no. It's not articleship. It's a proper job.
It's a job. You need to do a job before you apply for other papers.
Yes. So the
And how
point
many
is,
years?
so the in how many, it's up to you how much you want to clear it. As I told you, after you start working, ideally the paper pace slows off a little. The good part is all companies have raises connected to papers. So if you clear papers, especially in the consulting company, since they're able to charge more, they have raises connected to it. Second is you also have study leaves, you also have all plans that are there. So the companies also motivate you to clear papers because for them it becomes a higher revenue earning capacity, especially for consulting companies.
Yeah, no, but what my question is, is there any minimum years of experience that is required to attempt later papers
No,
after 6, 7?
no. There is no minimum year of experience. You need to have a 3-year work ex overall to take the final fellowship. So once you're done with
Okay.
13 exams, overall
So that
along with
is
that, you need to,
compulsory.
yeah, that's compulsory.
3 years fellowship.
3 years for fellowship.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Komal.
Got it.
Yeah, I had it's a very small question, but the issue, I was consulting with one of my students, and he was from BSc Finance. So we were like now taking idea of whether he should go in for MSc in Actuarial Science or should he go in for economics. So how do you actually distinguish at this juncture that where should the student go?
So economics is an area where, so let's say, does he have a very clear interest towards mathematics, statistics, and finance,
Hmm.
and has an aptitude towards that? Then actually should be considered.
Okay,
Economics, on the other hand, has a lesser amount of math stats, but
correct.
more amount of basically financial theory. So if
Okay.
he's interested in that domain, then that is to be pursued.
Hmm.
uh, Domains are a little far. So broadly, the interest for math stats and finance should be the classifying criteria.
All right. Got that clear. Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Sonia, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So my question is actually, you talked about your fee structure and all. Now after the remaining exams, the 7 exams which are left. So for that, is it the per exam we have to pay the fees and how much it would be?
So Sonia, I mean, ideally, as I told you, all companies cover that. So the fees per exam after that would be around 35,000, but all companies cover it.
Okay.
And there are raises also connected with it. So ideally that we don't tell our students to include it in their cost structures, because wherever he works, he will be given some raises or some cost reimbursements for those exams.
Okay. But
But if you
otherwise,
want
it
to consider as a cost, it will be around 30,000 per exam.
per exam. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, KNG.
Hi. Hi,
Yeah.
Kanchan here from KNG again. As an international study abroad counselor, I would also like to ask you because a lot of my students do ask me, considering the cost here, like which comes out to be, as you said, BSc, MSc, and for 6 papers, it comes out to be around 10 to 12 lakhs, right? Total. So, which is covering 6 papers, and another 7 papers, as you said, with 35,000 would cost them another 3 to 4 lakhs, right?
Hmm.
So it comes out around 15 to 20. So is it not much benefit to do it directly from UK, from IFOA, rather than doing it here and doing it there? Because it would cost similar, perhaps.
No. So 6 lakhs or 6.5 broadly is BSc, and after that, let's say 30,000 per exam for the remaining 7. So that's another 210. So it's around 9 lakh-ish over a period of 5 to 6 years that a student has to pay, let's say if he pursues our route.
Okay.
If I talk about MSc that is there, I think in the UK is around 28,000 pounds.
Okay.
Plus all the other things. So the 30 lakhs broadly is Heriot Watts, and around 35 to 36 lakhs is base.
Okay,
Australia.
but then they would be earning in pounds, right?
Very, very
As you
subject.
said, the last 6 papers are along with the job, right?
So no, so those are full-time MSc programs. So you will have to study full-time there, and after that you typically have to search for a job.
All right. So you would advise better to do it here rather than go abroad and do it.
So ideally, to be honest, purpose of going abroad for anyone is the exposure that typically
Exactly.
abroad gives you, and with the thought of visa, basically getting an ability to or an opportunity to stay abroad. Given an option, I would always advise India. But per se ये बहुत बड़ा thought process होता है when anyone goes abroad. So if that is the thought process, then yes, because a lot of our students also go abroad because they want to stay abroad. They want to just go.
See, the deciding factor is sometimes also the quality of education. So that's what I think. Are we providing our Indian education system in the actuarial department? Is it providing sufficient exposure and sufficient knowledge to the students that they can pursue this globally?
Yes, and that's how we have our global accreditation, right? So the point is we get an accreditation from the IFOA, which is a UK body, which is recognized in almost 100 countries.
Yeah, that's recommendable. Thank you so much.
Great. I hope I have answered. I think we are.
Sir,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Samir.
So basically, the first 6 papers, when the student is doing a bachelor's program, apart from the fees which you mentioned, around 6 lakhs for 3 years, do they have to pay any other exam fees for IFO in this 3 years?
No.
Or everything is inclusive?
Everything is inclusive.
Okay, great.
Great. I think if there's anything else that we haven't touched across, you can definitely reach out to our counselors. They will be more than happy to help you through and make the decision that is there. If there is any particular student or any particular session that you want us to cover at your areas or your circles, more than happy, because we feel ideally this is a career path that needs to be known and needs to be understood along with all the other career paths that are being pursued right now. And more than happy to and basically give necessary knowledge or necessary idea about this career path. Thanks for being such a patient audience and listening to me.
Or is it compulsory to give ASET exam to be an actuary?
No, Siddhi. So if you do it from, so if you go to the II website itself, there are ways you become a direct member without giving ASET.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so much.
much.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.